Well. Good morning. And let me be the first to wish my two partners in crime and all y'all a happy hump day.
Amen.
And with that, I ask the question, one hump or two? Do you know why camels have humps?
Store the water?
Wrong.
Why?
The humps are fatty tissue. They're not reservoirs for fluid. The fat can sustain camels when food is scarce, and if they are in the need of water, they break down the fat in their humps and energy. The hump also helps camels regulate body temperature by keeping them cool in the desert heat. There are actually two types of camels. Were you aware of that?
I'm
You
not
were. There's the Bactrian. Those are the Bactrian camels. They have two humps. And the dromedary camels, they have one hump.
Okay.
How can you remember which is which? Simple. Think of the letter B, as in Bactrian. Turn the B on its side, and you should be able to visualize two humps. In case you ever get on trivia questions, The one humpers are common in Africa and the Middle East. Bactrian camels, those with a pair of humps, are native to Central and East Asia. And as to stop before I dig a really deep hole, I will hush up. By the way, only 8 months remain in 2025, and the 2025 hurricane season is about a month away. Good morning, I'm Rayford Brown.
I'm Kelly Knapp. And I'm Lee Barrows.
Anyway, speaking of hump day,
you had to do that hump day.
I had to do hump day. I mean, I explore things. I look things up because I'm not sure. I knew there were one humpers and two humpers, right? We knew that.
Well, I was thinking about camel and how they store their food and water.
They don't store water.
And how
humps.
They make it, whatever.
Yeah, you go.
Oh my God.
It's nothing but fatty tissue.
Okay, that and the difference between one hump and two hump. I have to honestly say that was not on my priority list this morning.
Oh.
But good information.
Well,
I learned something new.
In case you ever get into one of those contests and where money's involved.
Happen.
You never know.
I get too
nervous.
Too stressed over stuff like that.
Got to say, congratulations today to 6 brand new deputy sheriffs here in Onslow County. One of them has been a good friend of mine for a number of years now, and so I'm going to call him out, John Jasinski. He is now a full-fledged, honest-to-goodness, badge-toting, gun-toting, going to arrest your butt if you do something wrong, sheriff. He's a deputy.
That's good.
So congratulations.
They took the oath of office yesterday right here in Jacksonville at the Onslow Sheriff's Office, and all 6 of them. They had attended. I guess the BLET was not available. The first one that was available that they could get into was in James Brunt up there in Kenansville. So that's where they went. Began that class back in December, I think it was. Anyway, the sheriff yesterday, Sheriff Thomas, was really proud. He said the Onslow delegation, they had the overall high scores of the entire BLET class.
Excellent.
So excellent.
Nice. Way to go,
got some good
County.
Guys. And they had one guy shot a perfect score on the range. The second guy, who was shooting iron sights, the first one was using a little red dot optical stuff, whatever he was using. But anyway, he second guy with iron sights. Now these are new people, right? Rookies.
Right.
I'm sure they've been shooting for a bit, but shot a 99.2 with iron sights, which is an excellent score. Excellent score. So,
congratulations, John. John, he's got such a great personality.
A good guy.
He makes me laugh.
Yeah. Well,
that time we were all over at was it yours, Robbie's sister's house?
Yeah.
Working.
Yeah.
He had me in stitches the whole time.
He's a mess.
He's a hoot.
That too. Anyway,
not a camel. He's a hoot.
He's an owl. Anyway, the streets of Onslow County will be safer. So y'all can thank goodness for that. So And they were all family people yesterday that were sworn in. The moms, their dads, or their wives, or their wives and their children were there. And the badge pinning. One of the guys is sworn in. His brother is a deputy sheriff up in another county here in Onslow County, in North Carolina. So he came in. He's a canine officer, supervisor. So he came in and pinned a badge on this young man yesterday. So that, I mean, it's just flat cool. If you ever get a chance to visit one of those, take the opportunity to do so. They're really, really fun. It's really nice to watch these guys. Some of them take it off on a brand new career. All 6 of these guys have spent about a year or more in jail. They got to go home after shift.
On the other side of the
They get to go home after shift.
Right.
But that's the sheriff's policy. You're a brand new deputy.
I understand
you're gonna spend a year up here to the detention facility. They don't call it the jail anymore. It's the detention facility, and then they can, if they want to, remain there. Some people like to work the jail. The weather's always good. So they've always got food.
It's very
very true. You don't have to go running chasing people.
I know the time I went, it was so cold in there. Cold in all that building.
Keeps the diseases down, kind of like being in hospitals and stuff.
Yeah.
So what's going on in your worlds? We got some special guests today. Of course, we got the weekly session with Dr. Rosemary Stein.
Which we're going to talk to her about children outside and air quality and what it does to their asthma. And
we've mentioned skeeters and red bugs and ticks.
We're not doing any bugs today, okay?
And that kind of stuff. Ants. I'm still recovering from ants.
Yes. Well, we need to ask her what's good to put on all those ant bites.
I got that.
Right.
I can't wear it in here. It'd run you and the doggies when I put a little bit on last night. I don't have the itch so much anymore, but I put just a little bit on. They left me.
Well, for those moms that don't know what to put on there, yes. That's Robbie's good when she gets out her medicine bag. She's like the witch woman, the medicine witch woman. Man, she puts that stuff together. And she's smart.
Oh, I know.
She's good.
Sometimes I don't ask questions about what's in it because I don't want to know. I really don't want to know. And she always gets eggs and she lets them rot. And then I think that's what she...
Wait a minute.
No.
Speaking of eggs, prices are coming down a little bit.
I've got a suggestion. Maybe our first lady, as in Melania Trump lady, first lady.
Yes.
I think she should approach the House of Representatives with pretty much any legislation that we, the Americans, the subjects, not the politicians, want. Melania has been backing a revenge porn bill that would crack down on explicit images, including deep fake nudes generated of people by artificial intelligence without consent. Apparently, that's a big thing these days.
Yes, it is.
It's called Revenge Porn Bill. That's not the only thing it covers. The tools to address known exploitation by immobilizing technological deep fakes on websites and networks. It's known as the Take It Down Act. If you use all those letters in there, that's what it means. Was approved by a 400-2 vote and now heads to President Trump's desk. I wonder how he's going to deal with that one. Dear.
Who's the two that did? I'd like to know.
I'll get to that in just a second because the very first question I had when I said 402, who's again it? Did they miss the boat? Yeah, I think they probably did. If it becomes law, it prohibits the non-consensual online publication of intimate visual depictions of individuals, both authentic and generated, and requires certain online platforms to promptly remove such depictions upon receiving notice of their existence. It specifically prohibits online publication of intimate visual depictions of any adult where publication is intended to cause or in fact does cause harm to the individual, and where the depiction was published without that person's consent, or in the case of an authentic depiction, that means a real photograph, was created or obtained under circumstances where the adult had a reasonable expectation of privacy, as well as a minor subject where publication is intended to abuse or harass the minor or to arouse the sexual desire of any person. First of all, that will apply to bullying. When you put images out there meant to embarrass a kid, you've got a revenge porn law to deal with too, because it is kind of all encompassing. Good. Add expectation of privacy. That includes images illegally obtained that are sneaked in a dressing room, motel, or any other location with hidden cameras, or images recorded from a hiding place. Yes, my friends, there are scumbuckets out there. 2 Republicans, you ask about two Republicans, Representatives Thomas Massey of Kentucky and Eric Burleson of Missouri, were the only House members to vote against this legislation on Monday. The Take It Down Act would impose federal criminal and civil penalties for publishing unauthorized intimate pictures generated with AI. That means fake intelligence. Representative Massey thinks the punishment could be a bit of a slippery slope and that he's not willing to go down, so he voted against it. What slippery slope? Yeah, one of the congressmen might get caught in it, right? In reality, here are the facts, Jack. Any image or a likeness that is identifiable by a reasonable person cannot be reproduced either online or in print without what is commonly known as a model release from the impacted individual. This applies not only to professional models or actors, but to you and me. Exceptions include any image that is part of a larger scene. You're shooting a football stadium full of people. You can use that broad picture. You can't zero in on that 1 or 2 or 3 people there and use that for personal gain.
Right.
It applies to everybody. Exceptions include that larger scene image that I talked about. A photograph under those conditions that centers on the person still requires a release. There's a famous one, New York Times, I think, used it as an illustration. Took a street scene, but there was one person in the foreground that was close up, and the whole background was the street scene, but they had this one guy there. The criminal penalty is harsh. The civil penalty can cost the violator tens of thousands of dollars. Not worth the gamble. Anyone who copies or otherwise uses, steals an image from the internet or anywhere else that's not out there and says for the public use, with a release from the person that took the photograph, the poor soul doing that faces both criminal and civil penalties for copyright infringement. Doesn't have to apply to this law. All photographs that you take or I take, professional, amateur, or whatever, actually with or without a copyright signal attached, are automatically copyrighted. Don't go online and start stealing images there and use them for your personal gain. You can be arrested. You can be fined. You can face civil penalties. So why is it called revenge porn? Let's just suppose a happily married couple or a couple that's happily together. They enjoy taking intimate photographs of each other. All right? Yep. Maybe it's not your thing. Maybe they like to do it. So suppose they split up. They get mad and the split is not very nice. One or the other then shares those intimate photographs at various online sites to get even, so to speak.
Yeah.
That will be illegal under the new law, and it could cost you a lot of money if the offended party wants to pursue it civilly. Here's some advice. Regardless of the reason that you pose for photographs, even if it's for a professional photographer you pay to take pictures for whatever reason, do not sign any release without getting advice from an attorney. They'll look at the loopholes in the model releases. There are loopholes built into many of them. A professional doesn't do that, but some scam artists will, including agents. A professional will release, with a release will include some key points. One being that the image cannot be used for any purpose other than the originally intended purpose, nor without further release from the model, nor can it be modified in any manner without approval of the model before it was reproduced. I want to go back to the days of 1989. A young woman named Anne Margaret and a woman named Oprah Winfrey. In 1989, TV Guide put television celebrity du jour, that would be Oprah, on its cover, perching her upon a pile of money. The picture was exactly the kind of thing that tends to sell magazines on newsstands and in supermarket checkout lines, the tabloids.
Mm-hmm.
It was friendly, it was saucy, and it was sparkly. The only problem was that it wasn't actually Oprah. TV Guide had taken a picture of the talk show host's face and attached it onto the body of 60s star Anne Margaret, who looked a whole lot more better. The magazine had asked the permission of neither woman before it published that issue. A huge no-no. And this was before the days of Photoshop that made such modifications really easy. For professional or startup models, those releases can be tricky. If you sign with an agent, have a lawyer look at it. If y'all got questions about it, ask. I'll be glad to explain it to you if you've got some issues there. I'm not a lawyer. I've just done a lot of model releases. So anyway.
Well, I will say this is the first internet content law that has passed Congress since 2018. Kudos. And it was introduced actually by Ted Cruz, who's a Republican, and Amy Klobuchar. Was something like that, who's a Democrat. Two oppositions working together. It's kind of a nice.
And 400 to 2, and I'm still. What is the slippery slope of this law and the punishment of it? Is that you might get caught in it?
Well, if anybody has ever kept up with a lot of these things, I mean, when you go on and on the internet, it leaves a footprint. Everything you do
it does.
On a computer, on a laptop, on your phone, whatever, it leaves footprints. And if you don't think you're going to get caught, think again.
It's traceable, and they're going to find you. And if you do that, first of all, in the photographs that I have online at any time, just to make sure you were at the same football game that I was at, and your picture kind of looks like mine, there is embedded in that image on the 1 or 2 pixels, a copyright symbol with my name on it. That's just so that I can identify it and prove, because I know exactly where it is. I can enlarge it to the point that you can see it and like,
Tom says, I have a great idea. Mm-hmm. Stop making naked pictures and stop sending them. Yeah, that will certainly stop it, Tom.
Well, if you send it yourself, then you've just opened the door there. There's not a whole lot you can do. But if somebody else sends it, and if somebody else gets it when they've hidden a GoPro in your shower, or they've got a little pinhole in the bathroom door at the stop and go, there's people. I just can't figure out what bathroom pictures the people would get their jollies over. I don't know.
One-stop picture. Oh my gosh.
Maybe I'm just old.
But I will say that there are adults who, like you said, they have private pictures. If they want to do whatever,
that's fine. That's your business. Just to make sure you understand that
there comes a day where you don't get along so well.
The day of reckoning. And if you put something out there like that, you just want to get mad at somebody.
And there's so many predators on the internet. You don't know who you're dealing with.
No, you don't.
You might think you're talking with somebody that you've gotten to know and you think you love, and you send them a naked picture, and next thing you know,
that love, that 4-letter word becomes a ruh-roh.
Yes.
So anyway,
just got.
We got weather alerts.
No. This is an alert from Pender County Schools. There is an accident. This is their words on Highway 17 near Lowe's Hardware and Bojangles Restaurant in Surf City. No buses are involved in the accident,
Okay,
but you can expect
Lowe's
delays.
and where?
Lowe's right there at Surf City, and right there in Surf City at Lowe's in Bojangles. As you're going into Pender County, just as you get into Pender County, there's a
You're
Lowe's
talking
on the
about on
left.
US 17.
Yes, it's
Okay.
on US 17.
God, most people think of Surf City as being down near the beach,
Yes,
but
it's
Surf
also part
City
of 17,
also has
yes.
a big chunk of land out there on 17, so they could collect city
When you
taxes.
leave
on it.
Holly Ridge, you actually go into Surf City. So
Yeah, within a
on
couple miles or so.
17,
Yeah, so right there on US 17,
So
near the
travel
Bojangles and
delays.
Lowe's and whatever, going 17 South area. So be careful down there.
travel delays in that area. So hopefully it's nothing but a fender bender.
We hope so.
We hope so.
Outshore out to 20 nautical miles today. Southwesterly winds 15 to 20 knots, gust to 25, seas 4 to 5 feet with 4-footers every 5 seconds. They're going to be choppy. Sounds and rivers will likely have a bit of a chop, especially in the afternoon. Southwesterly winds tomorrow, 10 to 15, seas 3 to 4 feet. Southwesterly winds on Friday, kicking up a bit, 15 to 20, 4 feet or perhaps more in the vicinity if in case they get some stormy conditions. We've also already got a little bit of breeze out here. You can see the good thing about this breeze is switched around yesterday from the southeast to the southwest.
Thank
That
goodness.
smoke and stuff that was coming down to us from up near the Swansboro, Maysville bypass, the cutoff, not cut bypass, that was drifting over here is moving in another direction now.
Yeah.
So the air is clean,
Better. Yeah.
clear.
Yeah. All right. Today, mostly sunny, a high of 86, but we will have 18-mile-an-hour gusts, and the winds will be 6 to 11 miles an hour. Folks, I'm pretty sure we're still under the burn ban, so don't even try it. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 63. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 86. We still got those gusts. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low of 63. And on Friday, mostly sunny, a high of 85 with 20-mile-an-hour gusts and winds generally 7 to 14 miles an hour.
And I just wanted to say that the National Weather Service has put out a beach hazard advisory for strong longshore currents in the surf zone. In other words,
rip currents.
Rip currents.
Yeah.
Until tonight.
And with that, be careful. If the water's still too chilly to be swimming.
Who would go in there
Okay, it's
anyway?
in the mid
People do
60s.
it.
Well, there are a lot of Canadians come down this neck of the
I
woods
know,
this
they're
time of
like,
year,
"It's
and they think, oh
warm."
boy, it is hot down here in this water.
Could be camels out there taking a dip.
Well, I've got some interesting, exciting
Okay.
news. Wisconsin Supreme Court suspended that judge.
Yes, they did.
I love it.
saw that. That didn't take long,
Miss
did it?
Hannah.
She's
Hannah's out.
suspended. Beginning April 29th until further order of the court. However, she still gets her $174,512 salary while
She
she's
could be
on
a
leave.
congressman, couldn't she?
Yeah, I know, right?
Just about.
What is interesting to me that it's just
Go ahead.
mind blowing. People are actually protesting her arrest.
They don't care.
Like
They don't know. They have not a clue what's going on.
I mean, I'd like to understand
It's
the
Wisconsin.
logic. How? Why? What are you protesting? That she helped a man who, forget the part that he's here illegal. I'm going to put that on the back burner for now, which is a huge deal. But she helped a man who was in court for assaulting a man and a woman. She helped him escape.
She didn't help him escape those charges. She helped him get away from ICE, who was
Yes.
there to pick his
Yes,
butt
she hit
up.
him.
Yes, but that
Because he is
stopped their
illegal.
charges. Yeah. I mean, they were in court.
Yeah.
The poor victims were in court.
It stopped the proceedings.
Yeah, she stopped the I mean, what does that say? How would that make you feel as an American citizen to have a judge stop your assault case, basically, and take the defendant?
If you were
And-
the victim. is
Yeah, if
what
you
you're
were the
saying.
victim and help him evade arrest for some other issue. Because basically what she's saying
I'm
is, hello,
trying to-
citizens, we don't really care that you got the crap beat out of you. We're going to help this guy free because he's here illegally and he has rights.
Harboring a fugitive.
Yes. She
is
should have been
is-
slapped with
is-
that
is
charge.
illegal in every state. That's a state charge.
Yeah.
And probably somebody up there, any police officer should go to the magistrate's office and say, I want an order for yada, yada, yada.
hmm
for harboring a fugitive. Here's what occurred. This woman took this guy and took off and let him out a back door so he could escape. He and his lawyer.
Well, what also
Isn't
becomes
that harboring a fugitive?
it is harboring a fugitive,
Okay.
aiding and abetting, in my opinion, escape. I mean, I don't
Uh-huh.
even know what her charges were at this point, other than
Well, the guy
Stupidity
did
is
not
clearly not
initiate the
charged.
escape. That's the thing.
no,
He did not.
no,
So
she
he
initiated it.
cannot
But,
be charged with
No, but
committing
isn't-
an escape.
but isn't that aiding? Isn't her? Isn't there
It's
some kind of
really-
aiding and abetting of something?
Yeah, well, harboring a fugitive is a good catch-all.
Uh huh.
Go get him. Go get her.
I mean, I just don't. But I can't fathom. I just cannot fathom the protests.
Mm.
I don't get it. Well, oh my God, it makes my head hurt. Did y'all watch that video of that fight on the cruise ship in Texas?
did.
No.
I'm
You're on a
sorry.
cruise ship.
I'm
Isn't
not the
everybody
cruise. I'm
peaceful?
sorry, not the cruise ship. They were had pulled back into port and they
Okay.
were debarking. Is that the right word? Yeah, I guess.
They were getting
Embarking.
off,
They were
yes.
getting off the boat. Big old brawl. The video is unbelievable.
I watched that video. I think you
Why
I
did-
showed it to you.
Where did
Yes.
it start out?
They were
On the
in
dock?
they were in the, I'm going to call it, they had their
The terminal?
luggage, the terminal. They were
Okay,
in the
got it.
terminal. And a big old brawl broke out. I don't know
I think
why.
it's their last cruise too. Didn't they
Yeah.
get banned?
Oh, 24 of them banned. Banned by Carnival.
Oh, Lord.
They were at the Galveston, Texas terminal. And the cruise had been, 30 people now are banned, it says. They were disembarking. That's the word they're using. There was some kind of scuffle broke out. And if you watch the video, security guards are trying to intervene. It was a week-long cruise. It stopped in Mexico and Honduras.
Hmm.
Who would even want to take that cruise, but whatever.
A lot of people.
I know.
Maybe that's why they were mad.
Well, I don't know what they got mad about. And
Somebody stole somebody's luggage.
if you watch the video,
A broken line.
the security is trying to intervene, and they have this one guy on the ground, and this whole mob of people just kicking and beating him.
Oh, really?
There was a
That's
whole
like-
group of them fighting.
If you're
Women,
outnumbered,
men,
don't jump in.
yeah, women and men. I mean, I'll just show you this video. I have it right here. I'll just show you this video, Rayford. It's unreal. Why?
My. Don't join a crowd. I can tell you that right now. Pretty much in any fight that's out there, go the other way just as fast as you can because you're going to get caught up in the middle of it. I got caught up in the middle of it on a dang New Year's Eve party one time, years and years ago. A fight broke out. Why? At the stroke of midnight. Why? Because the woman that the dude kissed was not the girl that he was there with.
Oh, that'll tease it.
And
That'll
then
start one.
and she
we'll know
and she
it, yeah.
punched the crap out of him, and then he and then other people joined, and then it just spread everywhere. And I said, I gotta go. I gotta go.
You don't do a I got caught up in a riot in England.
Did you?
Yeah, not by choice. It was
Well, mine
trying
was
to
a
take a photo.
photo. I just
Yeah.
I got to get out of here.
Yeah, and CNN out there filming it the whole 9 yards. We were just, my daughter and I were just trying to get to the boat. over there.
I got punched one time.
Yeah. I stayed clear. It was rough. It was
And
about 200
and
people
I
involved in
put
this
my hands
riot.
in my pocket. Naturally, of course,
Mhm.
I didn't do a thing.
You are such a liar, Rayford. I know you're
Bring
a
the
liar.
polygraph.
I
you
can
know,
remember
for you.
worked a rock concert where things got real bad in a
That's where
hurry.
tear gas comes out.
Oh, well, at first we didn't wear our weapons because we figured that it was such a crowd and there were so few of us
Yeah,
that it was best
you'd
not
run out of
to.
bullets after 6 bullets.
Dad didn't last an hour because I mean there was a shooting. I watched one guy get shot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was crazy, and
Did he
that was
deserve
the
it?
year. It was just pandemonium, but that was the year that out in the parking lot, the cars were parked in a grassy field. Someone had failed
Near the grassy
to
knoll.
extinguish a cigarette. They laid it in their car. It fell out of the ashtray, burned a hole through the bottom, and set the grass on fire. We had about 30 cars go up in flames. It's crazy. Dr. Rose.
It's not Dr. Rose.
Oh, it's Chris Marks. He needs to call back.
Morning, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing well. Is Dr. Rose getting ready to call in? I'll call
Yes,
back.
yes, she
She's
is.
come back within the
Okay.
next minute or so. You want to call right back?
I'll call back.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris. Real quick, while we have a minute,
Uh-huh.
we haven't even discussed the biggest political news of all that's been coming out lately.
Donald Trump's going to run it again.
They're talking about
I'm
analysts
kidding
right
y'all.
now are predicting and encouraging, and she's not committing. But AOC, there's talk of her running for president in
I hope so.
2028.
I hope so.
They've been talking about that for
It
a
would
couple
be
of weeks.
great if
now.
This is
she'd
just
be
come
great
out,
if she's
yeah.
a
She's
Democrat
laying the
nominee.
ground.
Yes.
She's laying the foundation
I know it.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah, a big news story on it yesterday. It just came
Does that
out.
mean
I
she will
just can't-
quit being a congresswoman?
I just
run?
can't fathom that even a lot of Democrats, because I know a lot of Democrats that don't like her.
Don't kid him.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think I think this is another example of
outside
not
her,
being in touch.
outside her
Yes.
district.
Well, she's finally old enough now, so.
Well, but I didn't make her
She hasn't
qualify.
grown up though.
I mean, there's if a Democrat that has any sense is going to look into her and realize she's not our best choice. I mean, I don't know who would be a good choice
Well, you have
for
to
them.
remember she's part of the lead in this green economy and all this other stuff that the Democrats pressed
Nobody
so
cares
hard
about
for the
that.
last 4 years prior to Trump taking back over. So it's going to be down to who's going to be the Republican running, which we already figure is going to be hopefully J.D. Vance, and I don't know.
No, we don't know. Right?
See what this
More's
next
gonna come out. Who
4
knows?
years is going to give
I
us.
think it's going to be Pete Hegseth.
Well, Pete's got about another month left on his job
pretty
before
much.
he's going to find himself in the
Okay.
unemployment line.
Yeah, he's going to have to punch that ticket.
It's not the Rose.
Dr.
Pete.
Rose, the doctor is in the house. What's up, Doc?
Well, I think illnesses have dropped off. We
Good.
have lots of allergies. Kids are about to start their last whole month of school.
Yeah.
And I think that for a second, things are okay in the world.
Well, that's good. We got questions though. Kids are going to go outside like I do, and they're going to get bit by things like ants, and they're going to get by ticks. They're going to get bit by a bunch of stuff out there. In general, Mama and Daddy, it's just the time of year, and when school is out, they're going to have 8 or 9 more hours a day to get out there and be subjected to the abuses of the critters of the wild. Is there any general messages for stuff and for treatment of some of these bites? I would imagine most of the attacks will be very similar or treated very similarly, right?
Yes. They give you rashes. They make you itchy. They give you bumps. If you scratch them too much, they
They bleed.
a dirty place, they can get infected. So this is, just about all of them are going to cause something very similar to that. But, you want to make your kids resilient. And I think we have a lack of resiliency in America today. Teach your kids how to identify things, like different ant mounds. If you don't know, look it up. Everything can be accessed via Google. And figure out the different, poisonous type trees like sumac and learn to identify the poison ivy. And teach the kids how to do it. Have them be their own little Boy Scout or Girl Scout.
If I was
they caught up.
If I was an elementary school teacher, one of the things about this time of year is I would teach the same thing that we learned. I don't know about we, but I learned. Maybe in Eden they didn't care, but around the coast down here they cared. I learned there were 3 poisonous plants that grow here around this neck of the woods that you got to be careful of. Poison ivy, of course, everybody knows about that. Poison sumac and poison oak. There's a poison oak variety out there as well. But they had these big pictures up on the walls so that we could identify them. We had handouts we would take home. We need some teachers to do that again, I believe.
I believe that would be a great accessory, and the parents should do it first, and then it sticks to their brains if they're learning it in school. But give them a little botany class. I remember learning poisonous and non-poisonous snakes, and being able to figure out which ones you need to be afraid of,
All
and
of
which
them.
ones not. And and that made you not as fearful of the woods. You knew what was what, and you knew to protect the nature and when to stay away from it and respect it. And I don't think our kids have any understanding of that. So this is a great conversation. Our children should learn to identify things that can harm them and things that can help them out in nature. And we don't take a part in any of that. And those are things that stick around, because I remember when you're talking about that, I remembered it right away.
Let's see. You got things that grow in the woods. Let's take a holly tree. They have little berries on them. No, you can't eat those berries. There are all sorts of bushes and things out there that start out with berries or whatever as part of their foliage, becoming part of their that you really don't need to be eating. Just because it's a berry doesn't mean it's good for you. In fact, a lot of them are actually poisonous. That's
a great point. And children from a young age should learn that those aren't things they eat. And they look so pretty, and you know, if it's red, it's a little cherry. And a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old will be tempted. And you know, it's good for mom and dad to go around and look at the places that they sometimes hang out, because you're not always going to be walking where they're walking,
right?
And see what's out there, and then have a little walk with your kids out there, so that you can tell them what's what, and it gives them knowledge too. It helps them identify, and they can look at the bush and say holly.
And if you follow a bear and watch what the bear doesn't eat, you know, that will be bad. Seriously, animals are smarter than we are.
Yeah, that's right. Or a deer. You know, they have a pretty good instinct about that, and they know what puts out a certain odor, and they don't get close to it. But hopefully, the kids are not where the bears are walking around.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how about general? I mean, you know, my grandmothers, my parents too, especially my mom, all the women on that side of the aisle, I think, are the ones that would get the kerosene out and put it around my pants leg or my socks to keep the ticks and to keep the red bugs off. That's not the best thing to be doing, but there are things that the parents can do to help negate some of the possibilities of ticks and grabbing you and red bugs. Red is just an aggravating thing right up front. You can't see them. And mosquitoes and ants and all that sort of good stuff. There is stuff that you can do to ward their attack off, right?
Absolutely. I mean, and it doesn't all have to be all about the off. Although off is a great product, and they make it now for children, and they make it so that its toxicity is less on humans and more on insects. But you have a whole bunch of stuff even in your cabinets that you can use, and all you have to do is to Google them, or some of them are just botanical and plant products that you can find, or that you can grow and put them around your children, and those are all very helpful. So those ticks and insects don't stick on your kids, or at least pick somebody else.
No, that's all good stuff there. Okay, after you step onto a little hill out there that you didn't know what he was, or the little critters are crawling away from it, called ants. Some of them are fire ants, and they become very obvious very quickly. As soon as they bite you, they hurt. But then there are a bunch of those little ants out there that will bite you, and you just don't even know it until they're little. And then you start scratching and itching and all that stuff. And Kelly, Lee's already doing it.
I told you we weren't talking about anything that itches today.
I'm not looking at it because she'll make me scratch by default. I'm not looking at it.
It's worse than yawning, talking about ticks and stuff around here.
She's doing that.
Now she's got one in her hair and on her right elbow.
Stop.
So, what can we do after the fact, immediately, as soon as we recognize what's going on for the kids?
Well, the first thing is to address the area. Make sure that you have the room cool. If possible, put the part of the body in cool water, because it decreases the circulation. More circulation means that everything is going to be opened up, and that the toxins are going to circulate some more. Less circulation means the opposite. And so cool always helps. And then make sure that you always have some hydrocortisone, 1%, which is over the counter, and that helps to decrease the itching and the allergic reaction. If after that it's still looking really red, it really hurts, there might be something else wrong, like an infection. you might need to take your child to the doctor. But if you do those things and you do them early, for the most part, you can prevent a lot of difficult moments.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned cold water or ice water or whatever. They say the same thing for snakes. People that start running when they get bit by a snake, or little kids that continue running and playing, they're increasing their circulation, and it goes throughout the body, all over the body pretty quickly, and it can cause overall infections. But a snake bite, for instance, they used to be go ahead and cut it, put 2 dashes in it, and suck the venom out. No, that's a proven fallacy. But ice water or ice, a bag of ice or whatever kind of ice, slow the circulation down, and then you can easily take the child or yourself to the doctor because you're going to need treatment.
That's right. Take that child to the emergency room. If your child has been bitten by a snake, take a picture of the snake.
Yep.
So we can identify the kind of venom that's in the kid.
Yeah.
And then the tourniqueting is kind of controversial because some parents are a little too vigorous. But if you can decrease the circulation to that limb or whatever area it is, that's good. And then put that part of the body in really cold water,
yes,
if you can, or ice water.
If you don't get treatment, like a friend of mine did not get treatment right away up in the Beaufort, Morehead City area. It was dusk. Walked out to his mailbox or paper box or whatever he did on his driveway, and there was a copperhead there. He didn't even see him. It was dark enough. He, blended in with the whatever other debris was out there, and he got bit on the foot. And he spent a year recovering.
I believe
he was in the hospital for weeks trying to get over it because he didn't go to the hospital right away. He didn't even didn't realize how bad it was.
I have a question for Dr. Rose.
Yes.
I'm getting off the bug stuff. God. Dr. Rose, we're having a lot of issues right now around our county and in our county with air quality. We have a lot of fires here and there that we're still fighting, which is called smoky conditions. And like I said, the air quality has dropped. What do you advise parents for children with asthma and breathing difficulties, how to avoid the issues that arise with them playing outside with such bad air quality?
That's a great question, because we can do a lot by preventing. If your child has a moderate or severe asthma, you should be looking at that little indicator on whatever weather app or channel you like the best, and they'll always tell you the air quality. If the air quality is bad, your child should not be playing outside and be outside for limited amounts of time. The more you run, the more whatever is toxic for your child goes in and out and in and out, and a lot of that stays in. So you want to decrease that exposure, and you want to decrease them breathing fast. So once you're inside, you want to keep that house. If your child is an asthmatic, probably in the low 70s, and have good air that's circulating. You want to check those filters every few weeks and make sure that they're nice and clean. Have backups at home so that if you discover that more pollen or something has gone through it, they can reach the inside. It can reach the inside of the house. That you're changing them so the air quality is good. And make sure that you still keep a humidifier in the bedroom, because the children need humidity in the air to be able to move things around and to spit stuff out. Because a lot of what happens in asthma is that the particles get trapped in the airway. So you want to give it a chance to circulate through the airways and make its way out. All of those things, and plenty of fluid. You make sure that kid during those times is having at least 4 bottles of equivalents of bottles of water, big gold tankards of water that they walk around with, and you're going to see that kid's going to be less prone to asthma. You do those things, and you will land less frequently in your doctor's office.
Yeah, you mentioned the filters in your air circulating system, air conditioning, HVAC central system, but you can also pick up these little portable units.
I have those,
and I've got there are 3 of them in here actually that move the air, and they also filter out the air. Well, 2 of them in particular. You'll change the filters regularly, and which my wife makes sure that's done. But that's just this small area here of the studio, because we keep the door open from time to time. We need it. And throughout our house, we've got them scattered. I would imagine when I come in and I've got all this stuff on me, the first thing I want to do is get in the shower and get rid of whatever clothes that I've got. And my wife likes to throw them in the washer to get them out of circulation, so to speak, right away.
I think those are great things, and you mentioned like an air purifier, and I think that's quite helpful, especially if you or your children are prone to airways disease like asthma and bronchitis and such. Okay. So even for people who have a lot of sinus infections,
yes,
and allergies, those are going to be very good.
Okay, next week let's talk about vacationing and traveling with kiddies during the vacation time, going to places that they may not normally go, and how to keep them entertained and things like that, and maybe educate them a little bit.
And what to pack.
And what not to pack.
Yeah, what medicines
are,
Yeah.
Very good. I like that. And let's help parents anticipate for the next few weeks so that they can plan a great time away with the kids.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure Kelly's got a bunch of possibilities there, because when she vacations with kids, including her husband, she has to take things to keep them entertained, right?
Oh, no.
Well, nowadays it's easier.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Doc, we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Dr. Rose.
I'll see you next week.
Right.
You guys have a great week.
You too. Dr. Rosemary Stein, she's all around. I mean, just not only a great doctor all the way around, but for kiddies, she goes above and beyond as far as I'm concerned. She's what I would love to have had for a pediatrician for my child when she was growing up.
Absolutely. I think we had one really great one growing up in Jacksonville here. Dr. Martin, he was such a loved doctor. He did a lot of work with children.
I didn't have a pediatrician per se growing up.
Well, I didn't either. I can't even remember going to the doctor.
I was a specialist, but I had to go to the doctor, but it was the family doctor all the time. Right. And in Wilmington, the first 4 years of my life, almost 4 years of my life, there was a place called the Babies Hospital. It was Dr. Sidbury, I forgot his first name, founded it way back in over 100 years ago by now, I'm sure. But anyway, it was there just as you're approaching the Intercoastal Waterway in Rice Beach, and it was called Babies Hospital.
Oh.
And they only accepted kids up to 12 years of age. So
wow.
Anytime we had anything of any consequence, off to Wilmington we went, and up until I was 12.
We had one it was in Martinsville, Virginia, but that's like 20 minutes from my house. Yeah. And it was called Children's Medical Center. And that was the same thing.
Fancy name. I like Babies Hospital.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good morning. How are you?
Hey, Chris.
I'm good. How are you three? Oh, good morning. Hope all three of you are doing well.
Yeah.
A couple of things. First off, fire ant bites. I have found for myself, because they don't like me, I don't like them. But once it you get that little bubble, whatever, I just pop it, then it's gone. Boom, itching's gone, everything's gone.
Okay.
Pour peroxide on. I just pop it. The fluid, whatever it is, the poison, whatever it is, poison, flows out, peroxide it, you're done. It's good. You're good to go.
I guess you get rid of bad stuff pretty easily, but sometimes some people, it just lingers and it won't go away. I got about, a handful of ants, small little critters, not fire ants, a week ago, and they still itch like crazy until my wife hit her cauldron and mixed up some stuff. Oh, it's good. It stinks, but it's good.
My demise is poison, anything. Ivy, oak, sumac.
Yeah.
And Kathy was trying to give the old, her grandmother's way of dealing with was bleach.
That's what my grandmother did.
I've heard that. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I just can't find myself pouring Clorox or any kind of bleach over me, but whatever it takes, I'll do it. But
just don't drink it.
No, I won't do that. I always want to thank you folks again. We reached a milestone yesterday for wreaths on our fallen veterans.
Mm-hmm.
We're at 772 wreaths.
Oh, we're moving on up. Good.
We're moving on up. Last night I posted to see if we could get to 1,000 by June. We possibly can. It's not that hard.
You got a month to go.
28 wreaths. Yeah, not that hard. But I want to thank you folks. And I see the wreath at in the front there under the on the air sign.
There
Thank
you
go. Lee for purchasing that. And
Lee bought that thing.
There. Yes, she did. She's a very big
This is where
supporter.
proud
As all three
supporter.
of you are.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks very beautiful there. One other thing, Kelly, actually, Kathy and I went to Honduras and Mexico, not on Carnival. Avoid Carnival, I think, if you don't like those kind of heavy-duty party ships, which probably led to that brawl. They were probably still partying.
Oh, no.
I watched the video.
Yeah.
That was pretty violent.
It was violent, but I'm getting ready to hit play. And yeah, it was very interesting.
Yeah. But Honduras and Mexico, all the very short port stops, they were pretty nice, and people were very, very nice. Of course, they were trying to. You know what I find that they all want to do, and this is not picking on the ladies because they did try to to hire me to do it because I actually convinced the two managers to go in there, but. The eye things. Yeah. Oh, look at your eyes are all under your eyes and your wrinkles and stuff. Try this cream. Let me do this on you for a little bit. Let me try this. And then you walk out with $200 worth of some kind of facial cream.
Yeah. No.
Well,
I'm not going to
now,
fall for
first of all you got to do is go in there and get that little treatment for hemorrhoids and put that under your eye, and it will tighten everything up.
It's good to know too. I'm just saying. Yeah.
That's what I've been told.
Thank you. Well, that's right up there for the story on Hump Day.
Okay.
But I also want to thank everybody for your donations to Crime Stoppers. As it looks like we're going to have a successful campaign.
Good.
I posted the night before last that anybody needs tickets, and sure enough, I had somebody that Facebook me back and said, "Can you meet me?" And I said, "Sure, I can." And we sold some more yesterday.
Here's what we're talking about, guys. Today is the 30th day of April. This means it's the last day of April. There are not 31 days this month. 30 days. Today is it. I'm looking at one person in particular right now who is holding 2 tickets that she hasn't spent yet.
I have one ticket, and I'll be having barbecue for lunch.
Okay, I was going to say, if you don't want it, I can find somebody who does without looking very far. Okay?
And then
Lee, that was a hint, Lee. I've got tickets to
you haven't used yours either?
No, we've yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right.
we're rocking and rolling.
I've been over twice, so it's been good to go. And if y'all would like to really contribute to Crime Stoppers, you can do it at any time. But right now, today and today only, you can buy one of those tickets or 2 of those tickets or whatever, $10 a piece, and you can go take that right on over today, not tomorrow, and to either one of our Smithville barbecue, chicken, barbecue, shrimp, and all that stuff. You can get either a chicken or a barbecue dinner plate. Hand them the ticket
with 2 sides.
With 2 sides of your choice.
Yes.
You can get either one with your 2 choices, 2 sides. I love their potato salad, particularly with chicken, potato salad and the coleslaw. Don't get the coleslaw.
Always good.
And if I really wanted it, I'd get 2 coleslaws.
Yeah.
If I couldn't make up my mind. But that's okay too. But you can do it today. Just take those tickets and go by there. You don't have to give them anything else. Just those 2 tickets and smile. Okay?
They just the friendliest staff you could have.
Oh, God, yes.
And I know I want to speak for, not that Lee needs me to speak, but I will. Rayford, thank you for identifying this chicken and barbecue and not your normal.
Thank you.
You had to say it, Chris, now.
Well,
thank you. Here we go.
Do you think the other went over pretty well?
No, nobody does.
Oh, yes, they do.
Sorry, ladies. But yes, thank you, everybody, for your contribution. It's been a great campaign. And as we continue now pushing real hard with Reach Across America, if anybody knows of a family member who is at Onslow Memorial Park, which is on 258, the veteran section there,
yep,
contact Kathy or I, because we want to let you know that there will be a ceremony there this year.
okay,
And it's going to be, we're trying to get it to be military oriented with the Marine Corps band,
okay,
and
good.
color guard and things. So
Good.
Anyway, just wanted to mention all that to you folks. Love the show.
My dad's there.
Thank you for all you. Well, we can get a read for him.
Got it. I'm gonna.
Chris, call me
Okay.
later. Call me later, Chris.
I will do that.
So I won't forget
I
to
will call you later, Lee.
Her name is no longer Lee. It's later.
Okay.
Later,
I'll call you
Lee.
later.
Okay.
Have a blessed
Thank
day,
you.
y'all.
Bye.
I have an update on the fire near Hubert. Is now at 60 acres. No, I'm sorry. It's now at 50 acres and 60% contained. So
Good.
stay
That's
away
up-
from the area.
Yesterday was 40%, so
Yes.
they're making headway.
And they're
As long
asking
as
you
those
not to
winds-
fly drones around the area because
Yeah,
you do have
please.
forestry planes.
Yeah, and we don't want to cause a crash over there.
We don't need
What
a drone
what mess.
strike.
You think Nancy Pelosi and any number of elected legislators are so wise that they manage to buy and sell stocks at exactly the right time? Are they that smart?
No.
Not once, but time and again and again and again, they bought them. In Pelosi's case, she didn't actually handle the transactions, which is usually the case. She left that to her old man, Paul Pelosi. So let me give you an example. Back in January, hubby Paul purchased Tempus AI. I have $15.15 per share. He spent $75,000. He bought that much stock, $75,000 in Tempus AI. In 4 months, only 4 months, that stock increased in value by 47%. So 1.5 times $15 per share, or let's just go 1.5 times $75,000. In 4 months, that $75,000 became what, $110,000 or thereabouts?
Right.
About $110,000, $112,000 in only 4 months. How would you like to make that much money? $37,000, $35,000 in just 4 months. Would that be a good investment for you? Yep.
Absolutely.
He does this all the time, apparently. Maybe he's got the best crystal ball in the world, or something is just not right, one or the other. Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri says this kind of stuff does not pass the smell test. He introduced a bill that'll never pass that would ban members of Congress and their immediate family from stock trading while they are in office. Given the reported wealth of a disproportionately large number of those we elect to actually represent us, those who seem to get really rich while they're serving the rest of us up on a platter, I think I support his proposal. Preventing is here's get the name of this bill. Ready?
Okay.
Preventing elected leaders from owning Securities and Investments Act. PELOSI.
Okay.
He never mentions Pelosi or anyone else in the bill. But if you take a look at the letters, again, preventing elected leaders from owning securities and investments, it spells Pelosi. Kind of sneaky. I like it, Senator. I really do like it. Pelosi's husband is described as being one of the most prolific traders associated with Congress, but his returns outperform the market consistently and by such a wide margin as to be considered too real for humans. It can't be done that way. The so-called Pelosi Act is actually simple. Lawmakers and spouses would not be able to hold, purchase, or sell individual stocks during their time in office, although they could invest in exchange-traded funds, diversified mutual funds, or treasury bonds, which allows them to grow their nest egg without any conflicts of interest. And here's my take. If nothing else about this, it could become the very thing that would result in self-induced term limits. They would have no reason to hang around to get all these insider trading information to be able to pass along if they were not able to take advantage of it. That's my nickel's worth. What do you think? That was a great one. Y'all don't want term limits. You want to get rid of term limits. But you want term limits. What better way to do it for Congressman? Are you going to give one of our guests here a microphone today, or are you going to hold two of them?
I wasn't even talking.
Lee had stolen two microphones.
Well, I was.
And you're not even a politician. They talk out of both sides of the mouth. You know, you didn't. They need two
Here
mics.
we've got somebody who's good at it.
No, here we go.
I'm only kidding, Robin.
Vice Chairman of the Onslow County Commissioners, Board of
You know you're my
Commissioners.
brother.
We got, like your brother, you fight all the time.
Yes.
He's my
Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
That's okay. Robin Knapp. How you doing, Robin?
I'm doing well.
Good. You doing everything good for you?
Yeah, trying. Just got back from Nashville with Kelly.
Yeah, I was
We
going to
enjoyed
ask
that.
you. You really enjoyed it.
He's such a liar. Don't let him think you.
Did you get beyond the pool?
Yeah. We went downtown, but
No. While she was out there working
no, I stayed in the room.
in the room, you didn't hang at the pool.
Yeah, she got me hooked on a Korean drama and some other stuff. So I
A
started watching
Korean
it.
drama.
Yeah.
I thought that was at your house.
No, that'd be half a Korean drama. This is a full blown Korean drama. So no, it was Nashville was good. We went downtown a couple of times, and that's it. I've had my fill.
Did you buy any cowboy boots?
No,
I bet any cowboy hats.
no. I tried.
If he tried, I wouldn't let him.
Oh, you wouldn't let him.
We were looking forward to that.
I figured you would come sporting that kind of stuff in here.
I wouldn't let him. He tried to buy one. I told him no.
Why?
Shot it down. Because he's never going to wear it. No way. No.
It's not that you're going to wear it. It's just for the idea of having it.
Nope.
You don't have stuff that you never wear at your house, Kelly.
Not something I wouldn't, for that kind of money, no. No.
Cowboy
So
hat.
he-
What can it cost us?
and he had a
$5?
cowboy hat at one. No, it was way more than $5. So,
Where was it made?
Nashville streets, I couldn't tell you. Don't have an answer. Had a vendor.
Okay.
I don't know where
So-
that came from.
Where is there something up here to get the feedback? Except your
I
headphones.
heard it too. What was
Maybe your
that?
headphones. You got headphones loose.
I heard it. I ain't
Okay,
put my
whatever.
headphones on. Yeah.
Robin, we're expecting chairman of the board here.
Yeah, I texted him this morning, and he called me back, so he's on his way.
See, he is coming.
Yes, sir.
He didn't forget, did he?
No. Actually, he remembered, but
There he is.
It's Tim. See, late for
He's
usual.
here.
What do you mean?
He had to
It's
come from
usually-
across
So,
town. You just
are-
have to come
are
from
you-
down the street.
Are you trying to tell me, Robin,
Here,
that he
Tim.
is late
Sit right
for
here.
county commission meetings on a regular basis?
No, he's never late for a county commissioner meeting, but other things he'll be late.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's good.
He likes to make a
Putting you
dramatic.
front and center.
Likes to make a dramatic appearance.
Fashionably late, just barely late. Is that what it is?
Well, yeah, I called him and let him know why I was running behind, but
No, you
he didn't answer his phone.
No, you didn't. I texted you.
Let's see.
Go ahead.
Oh boy.
Let's
Well, it says
see.
Robin Knapp. At what time did you call him?
7:43, because I've been sitting at the end of Onslow Pines Road waiting to get on Highway 17.
Yeah, there was
I've been there 10 minutes.
there's an issue down that neck of the woods.
Yeah, and by the time it took me from Onslow Pines Road to the gate, basically at the air station, 20 minutes.
You know, we got to do something about our traffic around here.
Are-
So we got two county commissioners up
Are you
here.
done?
What you gonna do about it?
No.
What you gonna do about all that traffic that we got in this area?
Not our responsibility.
We'll just keep pressuring
DOT.
DOT and doing what we can.
Uh-huh. How's that working out for us?
Not very good.
Like they really listen.
They don't really. They seem to have the last word. Is that what it is?
That's the truth.
Kind of do what they want to do.
I forget what the that clover leaf or whatever it's called there at the at 53
Barricade.
and everything at
Oh,
24, 53, the bypass there at
call it
Walgreens is.
Onslow's Monkey Junction.
You mean the place where they took all the businesses down and
Yes.
Piggly Wiggly's? And
And they're still 5 years away.
At least.
they haven't poured any asphalt out there yet.
No.
And have any, remove stuff? I mean, they've made it ready.
I haven't even seen a stake with a red flag on it
How
yet.
about any of the piney green cans, the trees, the flower that we used to have on piney green, those big orange and white?
All those big orange and white
Yeah,
flowers.
you don't see any of those?
None of those yet either. None of those yet either.
Well, they're at least 5 years away then.
That's a true statement.
Gentlemen, thank you for coming in. We've got the vice chair and the chairman of the board of commissioners here, Tim Foster and Robin Knapp. We like to give them grief because they're good people. And folks, y'all, not that you should give them grief. They don't need the grief. They get plenty of that. But if you want to talk to them, they're available.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can send them emails. They're on the county website that you can go and get their email addresses and all that stuff. And if you got some things you would like to get your voice across, don't wait for the elections. Hello, that's once every 4 years. You got plenty of time in between to tell them what you think
Absolutely.
and to seek some assistance. So,
And some things that we can assist on, and there's some things we can just encourage those that are responsible for it to get on
the
it.
county does not maintain any highways, they maintain no roads. They don't build
Unless they're
them.
county roads. Unless they're county roads.
What county roads are there?
Let me think for a minute. Okay, no.
Let's go and I think Vice Chairman knows something I don't. 'Cause I was trying to figure
I
out
was
what.
beginning to think.
The roads in the county do not belong to the county of Onslow for maintenance, okay? It's a different division. It's called the Department of Motor Vehicles. Inside the city limits of Jacksonville, all the roads are not city streets either. Some of them are maintained by the Department of Transportation again. So
That's right.
you got to kind of, if you're in the city limits of Jacksonville, you got to have to pick and choose who you complain to. In the county, you don't have to choose. It's the DOT, Department of
That's the truth.
Transportation.
And
That's
there
the
are
truth.
some
Makes it easy.
roads, like especially in subdivisions, where the developer
That's
actually owns those roads.
a them problem.
And that's a them problem, so.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah,
That's-
definitely. We
that's-
dealt with a lot of that through the post office where we had
Yep.
to threaten to cut off delivering mail because the roads were so bad. And it
Mhm.
was the developer that was responsible for them. And it ended up being the residents who lived there that bought the dirt and rock and put it in the holes. So,
That's a crime shame.
We've got a few that we hear from, and I feel for them. And there's probably about 20 of those neighborhoods, at least in Onslow County alone.
yes.
And what we've done is we've some have gone out and looked and seen how bad it is. I mean, we know, and unfortunately, there's not anything we can do other than encourage to get help. You know, they had the orphan roads legislation that has been passed, but it hasn't been funded, and I'm not even 100% sure anymore if it's been passed, but it has not been funded. And this year may have been a good year to try and get some funding in that.
Yep.
But Hurricane Helene and the needs in Western North Carolina took care of that. So it's not that the commissioners don't care or don't want to help. It's just we're in a position that those roads or those developments would have to come up to DOT standards before DOT takes it over, and it's expensive to do that. And like I said, there's about 20 of them in Onslow County that have been left in that shape, and I'm not sure what the answer is. We've tried to help, we've tried to find answers, but
And the
Haven't
developers
found it.
no longer responsible because they just leave.
that's right.
When they finish it, they can shut down. Here's one of the things, and I don't know that it's happening, but I know it's happened in other areas. A company will form. They're already a company, but they form under a name, Acme, whatever. Acme Real Estate Developers, whatever. They build a subdivision, then they shut down. They're gone.
They've done what they wanted to
They
do.
got
and left.
everything, and then they can go form another company somewhere else and do the same thing. Be careful. Check their records if you're going to be buying into a neighborhood. That's all I can suggest to you.
Right. And now the neighborhoods have to meet those developments have
Sure.
to meet those standards, and right out the gate, the DOT takes those over.
Well, that would be the good thing. So if you got inferior roads, if you just got some basically dirt paths with a little about a half inch of asphalt on top of them, just to get you to buy the property, just check it out.
That's
Not
right.
just a house, not just your property, but check out what's available. Infrastructure,
That's
they call it.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, now, what do we got? We're in the middle of a budget year and we're coming up on the end of it real fast. Are we on schedule?
Yeah, for the most part, we are. We have workshops. We've got big workshop next week.
Okay. Does anybody ever go? Because these things are open.
We get
Get a few.
Yeah, sprinkling of a few people, but most of the people don't show up, and it kind of bothers me a little bit because if you're very interested in the budget or a particular process and you voice your concern about it, but then you don't show up to a workshop.
How do they know when you're going to be discussing that particular?
It's advertised. It's advertised for our website.
On your website.
Yes,
This is coming up on this particular issue.
It'll be announcement showing
Okay.
budget, the commissioner's schedule, and it'll show workshop when it's scheduled, what the topics are, with the exception of closed meetings. We'll have a closed meeting that we're not going to share what
I'm
we're going to
talking about
discuss.
for workshops.
Yeah.
For those workshops, the budget workshops, which really should interest a whole lot of people because it's my money and your money, y'all.
Yes.
So, folks, you need to get real with all of that. So, go to the website, go to the Onslow County Board of Commissioners website, and look for whatever meetings are coming up, budget meetings, and pay attention to what they're going to be discussing.
Right, like this Monday, 9:00, we have a workshop there's several items on there for us to discuss. And then 11:00, we go into the regular session. And we've scheduled a workshop each month, typically it's been prior to the morning meeting. Recently we've moved them, the last one to the, evening meeting, starting at 4:30. And, we didn't have the last workshop. We wanted it to move it to this Monday because, Vice Chairman was out of town, and we didn't want to have that workshop without him being there to voice his opinion and thoughts on things. So we just kicked it to this.
Yeah, they're very easy to move them around.
Yes.
Nice way of putting that.
That's true.
Very nice.
If is there any place that the entire proposed budget is published now that people could go read and see what the wants are, the desires are, the suggestions are? And don't take that as being a final verdict, of course, because it won't be until whenever you adopt the budget. But wouldn't it be nice for people to be able to look at it and to see what's on your minds, what you guys are thinking?
Well, once the manager has his budget ready, it goes out. And we get it at the same time
as everyone.
Just about the public gets, and there's at the libraries, at the county government.
That's after all the workshops.
That's after all the workshops.
Keep in mind that budget, once it goes out, is not finalized. It has to come before us to vote. So during that period when we get the budget like everybody else, and he releases it from the county after all our workshops are done, then we have time. We have a little bit of time and space to if we want to discuss something further. So it's a proposed budget. That's what it is until we get to.
And you've got
understand
budget workshops with that budget
That's
for people to come in and share their thoughts.
How often in your 10 years, how often has it changed from the proposed budget to the final budget? And I'm not talking about changing a comma here or there. I'm talking about changing something significant.
I think from my standpoint, I came on in 2016. So since that time, probably about 3 times.
It has. 3
times where the budget is. I remember a couple of instances early on in my career as a commissioner that certain things came up and we had further discussion on it and we amended it before the budget was finally passed. And in last year's budget, the budget was proposed, but we had some amendments as far as nonprofits were concerned. That came up big time. And then we amended that to fund certain nonprofits that we didn't initially authorize funding. And that's because these nonprofits had a concern. We looked into it and we felt as commissioners that they were deserving. And but that's,
it's kind of unique to Onslow County too, is the amount of money that we fund with the nonprofits. Is there's a lot of counties that don't give a dime,
nothing.
But we, at some point years ago, Onslow County that was something they did. We've continued to do that, and you'll see over the years that line item has gotten a little more. But a lot of the nonprofits are doing things at a rate that we're getting a lot of bang for the buck.
Yeah, they're providing services that we can't as a county. A lot of these people, and the thing about it is that at the very beginning of my tenure, the budget, there was a proposal to remove all nonprofits and was shot down. And we had a vote, and I think, I don't know what the vote was. We only had 5 commissioners at that time, so it was 3-2. I think that we decided to keep the nonprofits and to keep voting for them. We have some that feel that nonprofits we shouldn't fund nonprofits. We shouldn't take on any new nonprofits. But they provide a function that and services that is not really funded by the county in itself and the government agencies, and then they provide a valuable service.
There are going to be those who will say, you look at it and say, well, if you're funding these folks, these nonprofits on a regular basis because they provide these services, then they are actually an element of the government, an element of the county, a department.
That's not necessarily true, because when you have government agencies and we're doing certain programs, you got to keep in mind that we're providing funding for these agencies, but there also be a lot of them are receiving state funds as well, and grants that these nonprofits would not fall for, or qualify for. So,
well, I have a question along that line. How do you pick which nonprofits to fund, and what kind of criteria do you look at? You said you like to fund nonprofits that provide a service for the county. I understand that, but what are some of the other criteria, and do they have to be registered as a 501c3 or 4 in order for you to do it?
Okay, first we have a dartboard that we sit in a room and we just throw. But no, so they have a certain requirement. They have to be a 501, and they have to meet the deadlines of submitting for a request for their nonprofits.
We've actually we've started a new process this year that Mary, and I mess up her last name. She has come on board, and
very good.
And they have designed criteria for funding. They've also got it set up, to your point, Rayford, is that we want to fund, but we're looking at how many times or how many years we funded this one, how much we funded this one. And the funding is not necessarily something that should occur every year, because at some point you would hope that they would be able to get themselves in a position where they didn't need the money from the county for that nonprofit funding to support them, to where they've got them. We've helped bridge the gap from beginning to sustainable, and it's been this new process is going to be interesting, because this is the first year I think that we've really looked at it, and her team have gone through the criteria. They've posted it. I wish I knew every piece of it that was there, but they really, and they are looking at not doubling efforts, not doing what the county's doing, or the county's doing what someone's doing, and doing those.
One of the complaints that I've seen in another county was duplicity.
Right.
This agency, this public service group, this organization, a worthy cause, doing the same thing that this other worthy cause is doing, and they are kind of crossing paths and sometimes beating their heads against each other.
Right. Competing. That's it. And that's as we'll get more information from them on what they have attached funds to. And it's not, I mean, the funding we do with nonprofits is not $500,000. I mean, I think it's a lot of times it's like $1.5 million, but it was $4.5 million requested, or $3.5 million requested. I mean, don't hold me to those numbers, but that's just an example of what we actually fund and how much is actually requested.
Now, do you ever do any other than the next year, as you're preparing your budget for these organizations that you've funded in the past? Do you ever take a look at them during that year? Yeah, I mean, you don't have any real control over them during the year about how they spend the money that you give them.
Yeah,
but do you take a look at them to make sure that they're doing it the way you would want to fund them the next year?
Our office does, because when the nonprofits go out and do something, they have to submit something every month.
Good. That's what I'm asking. Accountability.
They have to submit their paperwork for reimbursement or for whatever items that they're spending their money on. And so, yeah, we do have a sense of tracking these individuals.
We got a caller here. He's going to have a question too. Chris, what's up?
Hey, good morning. Thank you, Rayford. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. I hope you both are. The question I have, thank you again for letting Kathy and I speak, or Robin, Stephanie sometimes, is Come on, it's a joke. It was a great. It was an accident. It's good, but it's been a fun time.
We've had fun with it.
Yeah, and we actually have a daughter named Stephanie, so it works out. But
So I was right.
a question, yeah. So a question. So Wreaths Honoring Our Fallen Veterans falls under the National Wreaths Across America, which is a national 501c nonprofit. So for our group to maybe apply for funding from the county, would they have to be a separate 501c versus falling under Wreaths Across America National, which is where the check eventually would be written to anyway?
So if I understand your question correctly, you're asking if the national 501c can apply for Onslow County vice at local. Right now, I would think that that actually, I don't know the answer to that question. I'd have to ask our county manager. Obviously, your request this year is past the deadline. You can make arrangements for next year, but I don't know, because I know we have some nonprofits that are 501cs nationally and they apply. So I would think yes, that you could apply. You just have to meet the criteria in terms of filling out your application and meeting the deadline that the county sets on non-POs or NPOs.
And the lady to really find it, you got to get all the information that she can answer any question you have, Chris, is Mary Budachevsky. She's
wonderful.
Have you talked with her? Yeah, she's outstanding.
Yes,
she has done a great job, and she would definitely be able to answer any of those questions that you have. And I think from what you just said, you've already discovered how good she is.
Yep.
She is very good. We're gonna go ahead and just become one ourselves.
Be the best
locally.
Yes.
Yeah, and apply next year and see if the county can help us with some wreaths for the veterans.
Right.
But I thank you for your time and thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, Chris.
Chris. Appreciate it.
And I just pulled up. If you just Google Onslow County nonprofits, it'll take you there. And Mary has the nonprofit grant policy that's out there, and things that said is provide a service to the citizens of Onslow County that county government has the legal authority to provide a service to the county through means that are more cost effective or operationally expedient than the county government can provide. So it's doing things that the government they can do better. Imagine that at times do better than what the government does. And the criteria is obviously submitting it on time, state what the community need for the services is and what services that's being provided, and that description and the policy from the policy statement above. So and I think the eligibility nonprofit is the 501c3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, which are nonprofits that support social welfare, labor, agriculture, recreational, veteran organizations. So it's all on there. I sound like I know it all. I don't. I'm just reading.
Yeah, I'll say you're reading. That's good.
Yes.
You got your cheat sheet.
I got my cheat sheet.
So it's called Microsoft Copilot.
Okay. When you've got the nonprofit, back to that just a little bit. Do you on 1 July, beginning of the year, right?
Right.
Is that when you just dish out if they got $100,000 coming to them?
Amazing.
Yes.
Your receipts after you have spent the money. Grants nowadays, even with the state and federal grants, are spend, get reimbursed, and respend. And that's what this grant is.
Okay.
It's you spend the money, you get reimbursed, and you respend till you get your dollar amount. And I know because I work with Able Buddies, and they get a very small grant from the county, and it's spend and respend.
Well, that's a good. That's kind of like going on a business trip for your whatever company you work for. And generally, you don't get money up front. You get to file an expense report.
And let me use that as an example, like the Able Buddies. And we voted on it and we passed it with the commissioners, so I can talk freely about it. But Able Buddies is an organization that provides services, comforting type services, like they have a dance for mentally challenged individuals, not just children, but for teens, mentally disturbed
And
people,
adults.
and
And autistic.
and autistic especially. And I personally have been, through Kelly, there are a couple of people that have been very, they didn't communicate. They didn't communicate whatsoever. No one can make, they didn't seem to have any emotion or anything like that. They started attending these monthly dances that Kelly DJs for, and they've come out of their shell and they're happy. And there's been dramatic progress with some of these individuals, and that's what it's about.
They've become verbal.
Yeah, they
Some
become
of them
verbal.
have become verbal. I mean, the county doesn't realize what that little bit of money that they got, the difference it has made. And it's hard to communicate that sometimes because a lot of them are nonverbal or they're verbal enough that can sometimes still be difficult to communicate. It has made a huge difference, and that money has helped awareness for that. And there's the number of people that attend have grown. But the county has really done a good job. Crime Stoppers has come down and worked with them. Holly Ridge Fire Department is very heavily invested with Able Buddies. Yeah. I mean, they've done Holly Ridge PD. They've really done a lot for them. And I think a lot of people don't realize that it's there and it's free. This allows for this event to become free. And people often don't understand the challenges that somebody with these disabilities have just in attending general things that we all take for granted. It's often very difficult.
And let's make sure, Kelly, Robin mentioned that you DJ for that.
But I'm as a volunteer.
Kelly volunteers. She does not get I want to make sure
it is not my
we
group.
said that because she volunteers her
I'm a
time.
volunteer
Yes.
for them. I'm not in charge of it. I didn't found it. They've been together for years and years. It was a bunch of moms with autistic kids that got together for this because they had nowhere for their kids to go. And somehow I got hooked up with them because I do a lot with Special Olympics. So they came up to me, approached me probably in 2017, I think, 2018. They were looking for a DJ, and that's how I got involved with them. But it's not my organization. I don't do anything except help them fill out the paperwork.
You don't make any money on
I
it.
wanted to make
not
sure.
my thing,
as
yes.
I didn't want anybody to say, "Oh, Kelly, no."
Oh
she's
no,
not.
it's not my. It's not my. I'm just
She
a volunteer.
volunteers.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And Special Olympics, since you mentioned that,
Yeah.
Special Olympics is coming back stronger.
Yes, they've got
this
a
year.
director, and
Yes.
they do a lot. And Dorothy, by the way, who's on the phone, does a lot with Able Buddies as well.
Yes.
Dorothy,
Dorothy's holding a fundraiser for them at her axe throwing place.
Dorothy, can you hold a fundraiser for me too? I need some money.
Absolutely.
Oh, good.
Make that happen, Rayford.
That's for the Geritol crowd.
Yeah, that's what a Jared talk about. Stop it, child.
Mhm.
Okay, what's up, Dorothy?
That's actually what I was going to call in to give me a perfect lead on that, was to let everyone know that on Saturday, May 17th from noon to 3, we're going to have a Battle of the Badge axe throwing competition between local law enforcement to raise money for Able Buddies.
Does that include retired law enforcement too?
Absolutely.
Ex-has-beens?
Old ex-husbands. Heck, if the Onslow County Commissioners want to put together a team, we'll fit you in there too.
Do you have one for Robin? Elder statesman, shorter distance, lighter axe.
Whoa! Would you make sure that we do?
That was wrong, wasn't it, Dorothy?
When we go to the gun range, make sure you get a picture of Tim Foster's face and put it on that target, please.
Absolutely, I can do that.
Now, yeah.
I saw Dorothy. It's been a couple of weeks ago, a month ago. We had that the meeting there at Holly Ridge at Fishmongers. I believe
Absolutely,
it was.
yep. About a month ago.
So that was good. And here,
Fishmongers?
that's the name of used to be Holland. Holland
I know
Shelter.
Holland,
Now
yeah,
it's
okay.
Fishmongers.
Oh, okay.
And is it the
That is a gross name.
Millis? Is it the Millises, Dorothy?
Yeah, it's Randy Millis.
Oh, yeah. They've got it in their blood.
No.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There's fish scales. They have fish scales growing out of their heads. Guarantee you.
Absolutely.
That is
Oh.
nope.
What?
Absolutely,
You ain't from around these parts, are you?
And I'm not going to want fishmongers, really. I mean,
It's a New York thing primarily. That's what they call them up there selling them.
Okay.
Where you been, boy?
I guess buried in the South. I don't know. Buried in Onslow.
I think Florida, not Onslow. Still stuck down south.
I have a quick statement.
A statement.
Yes. Our loss was Carteret County's gain. I see that our former county manager is now the county manager at Carteret County.
You're just going to rub that in,
Congratulations.
aren't you?
No, I mean, I think that Onslow County has produced some excellent county managers in the past.
And I think we still have
And
one.
I think we have an excellent one now.
Yeah.
So you trained her for Carteret County to help improve
we did.
relations with our adjoining county. Is that what you say?
No,
I'm
it's
trying to help you all out.
no. What unfortunately, Sharon decided to leave Onslow County and pursue other things. And then she ended up in Carteret County acting initially as the interim county attorney for Carteret County. And then she was the interim county manager. And then she was selected as a full-time manager.
Right.
And of course, we have an outstanding county manager in David Smitherman as well. So, he came in and he was selected by us to take Sharon's place. So we're very fortunate. Both counties are very fortunate. Now with Sharon, they're very fortunate to have Sharon as county manager. She's an outstanding county manager.
David's hair doesn't look as good though.
Well, yeah, David doesn't look as good as Sharon, but he, she left. And, and she resigned as county manager here and then pursued private practice just for a little bit until she was selected by Carteret County. And, we miss her. But fortunately for Onslow County, we found another county manager. It's outstanding. That's in place now. That's filling her shoes or her shoes right now. So Carteret County is very, very fortunate to have Sharon.
Dorothy, when are we going to get you up here to sit down and so we can badger you with some questions?
Anytime. Just let me know. I'll be up there.
I'm going to have a question about something else down south in Georgia here that I may need a little assistance from you on with an FFL.
Okay. I can do it.
I figured you could. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Dorothy.
All right.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I have a question for y'all.
Uh-oh. You want to leave now, Robin?
No.
You don't even know what this question is.
That's why he should leave.
So the Trump administration ended ARPA and COVID-19 funds to all the states. And a lot of this money was dished out to counties through DHHS here in North Carolina. And I think, and I might be wrong, but I believe the health department may have gotten either some ARPA or COVID-19 funds or both.
Are you talking ARPA funds?
ARPA, yes. And so as effective March 24th, the state had froze all funding. If there is any county agencies that got that funding, obviously they can't use it now. Is there any plans for the county to pick up where they've left off with that?
My thoughts, and I have to go back and look at everything to ensure and make sure I'm saying this correctly, is we have encumbered all the ARPA funds to meet the deadlines to have that spent. I don't know of any that we haven't. The thing that's fortunate for us is we, like the school system, we didn't take those ARPA funds and put them into recurring line items.
Okay.
And I think that's where the mistake would be. If any county or school system or any organization put it in recurring line items,
May I say,
that's a mistake because it becomes a line item.
A tax burden.
Yes,
Is what it becomes.
and I don't think we did any. I don't think we hired anybody. We did some
That's
building.
what I was wondering. Did you
and
hire
seniors-
anybody or anything
No.
with it? Okay.
Yeah, we our senior services. I believe that's one of the places that we used ARPA funds in, which is in construction now. I believe we used some of the ARPA funds in the expansion of the EOC. So those are all things that were going to be one-time use. And I think too, that's what Onslow County Schools did, was they used it for the now, not for the future, because I think some people have gotten themselves in trouble.
Oh, I can imagine.
Because they've got positions that they now have to find the money for to do that. So kudos to the people in Onslow County.
There
That
are
was smart.
some gifts come with strings attached, and I will go back to way back when, Law Enforcement Assistance Administration, LEAA funds that before your time, the feds gave it out, and people hired a bunch of cops. Well, guess what? That ran out in 2 years, and guess what? You still had on staff. You had extra people on staff you had to pay for.
Right.
That's what happened here with the state, and that
happens. Be careful of your gifts.
That's right.
Yeah, because no one saw this money being stopped. I mean, it was even supposed to go through even the grant that we had through June 30th, and they just shut it off in March.
COVID money.
Yeah.
What?
COVID and ARPA. But
You got to be careful with that, because I remember a time when I was working in narcotics and I was working with the sheriff's department. We had to grant assisted salaries for individuals that were doing they were doing narcotics work with us, but they were tax guys. They They were going in and evaluating tax evaluations and taxing the criminals, et cetera, like that. And they had jobs for 2 years, and funding all of a sudden ran out.
And then what do you do?
And, you know, I remember at that time, the sheriff's department was at a crossroads as do we continue to fund this? And they didn't have the money to fund it. So those two positions disappeared. And so those two employees had to seek employment elsewhere, which they did. Yeah. But you got to be very careful with that.
And the smartest thing to do with those situations is when those grants start running out, the leadership should take care of it by attrition.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, somebody resigns, retires.
Well, first of all, have you ever, how long you been with the county, now with the commissioners, since 2016?
Mm-hmm.
2018.
18.
Okay, so have you ever seen a full staff at the sheriff's office? Has it ever been full?
No.
Do you think it ever will be full?
No.
Well, you know, the sheriff's office,
it can't be.
Well, you know, it's funny because
people retire.
People don't realize that, you know, the sheriff's office is a revolving door. You got retirement, you got everything, and then, you know, it changes. The sheriff's office is like a living entity because, you know, it depends on the crime. You just can't predict that. You know, they need more bodies for this. And the sheriff's office is a prime example. They are constantly changing and evolving and, you know, meeting the needs of what's going on right now in society. And that's one thing that's a priority with us for the commissioners is to keep that sheriff's department funded, to give them the manpower and ammunition that they need, so to speak, to do their jobs. Yeah, pardon the pun. But yeah, they're very, very important.
I mean, I'll tell you, even in managing a television news operation, you know, I had 45 people in the department. Not big, but big for a TV station, a local TV station. Mm-hmm. And our budget always included the number of personnel that we could hire. I was never full staff.
That's right.
So at the end of the year, I actually always had a surplus.
Well, even in the government,
I didn't go spend it on other things because I couldn't do it.
I remember in NCIS one time in narcotics, it was probably like the I don't know, late 90s, early mid 2000 time frame. I had about 15, maybe 14 people in my squad, and we were doing all kinds of stuff. And all of a sudden, overnight, we were dropped to 6.
Yeah.
So we had 6 individuals that did the job of what 14 people were doing. So the first thing that automatically happens in something like that is the caseload doubles.
Yep.
So everybody's caseload doubles.
And then they get time and a half.
Yeah, and then, well, we were federal, so we didn't get time and a half.
Oh, okay.
But
good,
because our overtime was built into our salary anyway. But the thing is we were overworked, and there were nights that I go into work at 8 o'clock in the morning, we'd be home till 1 in the morning, or 2 in the morning, and have to get up and do it again because, you know, it was when I was coming up, the average caseload for a narcotics agent for NCIS is about 22 cases each, and they're pretty thorough, and there's a lot of work to be done. So.
I got another question for y'all. So where the senior center was, that's being renovated, correct? Right. So is it going to be where the senior center is going to go back into that building?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there going to be more parking?
Well, I don't know about that, but
I don't know if there'll be more parking, but there's going to be a lot more nice, usable space in the building.
Anticipating when it will be done.
I believe it should be done by June of next year.
Okay.
I think it was like a 12 to 16, 18 months.
This is 25. It's projected to be done in June or July of next year.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
You're going to have the Oslo transportation system and maybe the city of Jacksonville transportation system putting that on the routes.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
That would be smart.
That would be great.
I think that's something they're talking about right now.
Good.
Because, you know, to get these people around. But I'm looking forward to the senior center. It's going to be nice.
And you're going to be there soon. You're going to need it.
Well, thank you very much. But you got
now. I got another question that I had a client ask this. I was trying to figure out in my head how feasible. I think it potentially is doable. I don't know where you guys would get the money for this. Someone asked, so Jacksonville, the city of Jacksonville has the bus system, but there's no county bus system that will even feed into the city.
What?
Is there a way, or has anyone ever thought about, you know, because transportation for a lot of people that have doctors and here in town, for people that live in the county often struggle to get to their appointments. Is there a way, or has the county ever looked at even having certain county hubs where a bus picks them up and takes them, even if it takes them to the little bus station where they can disperse, from the county into the city. Has that ever been looked at?
There are some services, I'm not exactly
Yeah,
sure
what is
who
it?
provides them
Well, the
that will
Alps does,
pick
yes.
people up
But
and
there's
do
people
that.
that want it just even for some that just want to come to work.
Right.
The Alps will only cover like medical
Yeah.
appointments.
So outs is designed for medical appointments and things like that are very important. I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
You're talking like in a system where you can
Just
bring
like
them
a
in.
bus, like a
hub.
how we have the city bus system, but that goes into the county, and then even if it takes them, let's say,
You like a transport, not a
like,
transport
not
system,
a
but
transport, like
a city
Well,
bus system.
a city bus system for the
But
county.
I think it would be something that would be great,
Mhm.
but unfortunately, I think the size of the county, you'd have like you said, you'd have to have hubs
Well,
where
like
people would have to get to.
one in Richland, build a
Yeah.
little
One
hub
in
there, and then they
Swansboro, yeah.
bus them in, and then one in Swansboro, one in Holly Ridge.
Well, back down in Wilmington make up most lots of New Hanover County, okay?
Right.
But they had, even in Wilmington, they had buses that people knew the routes.
Mhm.
They had a hub downtown, basically.
Yep.
Princess
Oh, yeah.
Street was it, Princess and Second Street. But they would have buses that were route, and they'd all end up at some point in time at that hub, so they can meet, and they knew the bus routes, and they could go from, okay, so you may have to come from Oleander Drive downtown to catch a bus to go back over to North Side,
Right.
that kind of stuff.
All within the city limits.
Yeah,
but nothing
well, they had some
Nothing
outside
down.
the city limits too,
Yeah.
but there was not a whole lot
Right.
outside the city of
I'm
Wilmington.
talking about from outside the city limits into Jacksonville, even if it just went to the big hub on Marine Boulevard, but
Where they could catch other
yeah,
buses.
where they could catch other buses.
Right.
Yeah, just even if, like I said, if you put one in Richlands and then one in Swansboro and one in like
Holly
Holly
Ridge.
Ridge, then people that need, because if I'm living in Holly Ridge, and I want to work in Jacksonville, but I don't have a car, they could take the bus from Holly Ridge, the county bus from Holly Ridge into Jacksonville,
Right.
go to that feeder center, and then figure out how to get to take the other
Right.
one. I mean, I just wondered if that's ever been considered.
I think it'd be interesting to look at, and I can
That's a good point.
off the top of my head, things that'll be difficult is that bus's route is going to be a long wait for people.
Sure.
I think
because of
it's something to look at, but the distances and one pickup, you want to take care of people,
Sure.
but then it becomes so cost.
I think it would be
preventative
full. I
that
mean, it would
neat.
be, it wouldn't be free.
interesting.
You have
Right,
to
right.
pay.
Have to pay something.
But I
Yeah.
think it would be a source of revenue. I think the buses, the outliers coming in would stay full. I just know of people that,
That's a real good. It's a real good point
wanna
that you
come
brought up. Good idea. Something that we're gonna probably have to talk about and look at because that's a really good
A
idea.
joint city-county
My idea.
venture with something like that would probably work.
yeah.
This is what I'm talking
Partner
about.
with-
People making inputs like that.
Yep.
Smart,
Yeah.
articulate inputs like
Might
that that
be
help us
something
because
to
it makes
look
us
at.
aware.
Speaking of input, I know that the latter part of this month that the county sent out surveys to random residents in Onslow County to gather initial feedback on guiding and planning things happening in Onslow County. Have you gotten any good feedback from any of those surveys?
I'm not aware or I've been exposed to those feedbacks yet. So I'm sure the county's getting them, and I know Smitherman, our county manager Smitherman, is getting them, and but I haven't heard anything.
I'd love to hear what they've got to say. Now I know that the county, you can go in there and sign up on the government page to a board. It's a feedback board, and and possibly by signing up, you can get further surveys, future surveys, because I know not everybody got one. They were just sent out randomly. But I'd like to hear what a lot of the surveys had to say.
Was that the latest one that went out?
That's the latest
The
one that
one
went
that-
out.
I think everybody should have just started receiving that in the last.
Okay.
I think that one. I think you could be talking about another one. There was a national one.
There was one in April, this
Yes,
month.
yes,
I think mid-month, they were talking about the next couple of days they were sending them
Yeah, I
out.
think I think somebody called me and said, I got a letter from you today. Because I think my
Appreciate
name was on there. And I said, hey, I'm glad you got
Yeah, it
one.
might be too
But
soon.
that one was a national one.
Oh.
And it was just a handful or a select, I won't say a
Mhm.
select group of people. It was just a random selection of people. And then that information, I believe, is going to be compiled nationally.
Okay.
And what Onslow County, how we compare and services and things that we're doing. I'm not sure when that one will come out, but that's one I can ask Angie Hoffman when we might look at finding the results
I
for
will
that one.
say the county is very transparent and they're very good about involving the residents.
Yes, yes.
So, I mean, we live in a great county.
And then the word transparency to me, it's a lack of a term of government doing the job they're supposed to be doing. I don't even know if you have to, if you're doing your job.
It should be transparent.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I shouldn't tell people, I shouldn't have to tell people
It's a
we're going to be transparent.
political word that
Yeah.
means nothing.
Well, it's a word.
You're doing your job.
It's a word
Information is
that
out
has
there.
been utilized since 2016, and I'm sick and tired of hearing the word transparency because it's a political word, and you know, when you hear it, I don't know how much more transparent we can be. If we're so transparent, we're invisible. I mean, everything that we do, like he said, like the commissioner, the chairman said, we're doing our jobs. The people in the county are doing their jobs, and we put things on the website. We put information out there. We have this show like this that that we started, so that people can ask questions. And I can't help it if you're a citizen out there and you're not really paying attention and you don't have any questions, and all of a sudden you start complaining.
Mhm.
You should have voiced your concern prior to that. Let us know, because we'll listen to you.
And I think
Call them in
I
advance.
think the nature of the beast is if everything is going well in your household,
Yeah.
you have no desire to really motivation to see what's going
But
on.
if I leave my house and I hit a pothole that's been there for the last 6
Then it
months and
becomes-
nobody done nothing about
That's
it,
right.
then it becomes an issue
right.
for me.
That's right. That's exactly
It's
right.
an issue for you, and it's
It's-
not an issue for us. It's a DOT issue.
I need to put y'all on the spot one more time, and then I'm gonna stop.
Okay.
Robin's like, I know he's hoping I just don't come in on days y'all are coming in.
Listen, I can turn the pot off for a fee.
What is the status of the detox center reopening?
Okay.
Because I truly want to know.
Say what?
Is it closed?
Yes, it's been
It's
closed.
been temporarily closed because
We're talking about Dick's? I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
So basically, right now, talking to Kerry Sanders, we have another group that's in there that's got to get the licensure and all that stuff, and that should be forthcoming here probably within the next month. It's going to reopen.
Oh, good.
We might want to explain to the public why it had been closed.
Yeah, well, that's a long topic.
It is a very long
It's a
topic.
very long
Yeah.
topic. There were some things that were done that I wasn't too pleased with, and how it was handled. But suffice it to say that RI International is now gone, and we're using another company right now, and we got to go through the licensure, because there's certain steps that you got to go through with the state licensure to
So you had
even
to fire somebody and
make it.
reorganize.
Well, we didn't really fire them.
Bottom line is they're gone.
They're gone.
Good.
Let's just
You
put it
fired
up.
them.
Okay.
And
Then we lost partners. There were some partners
Yeah.
that pulled out.
We had partners, but fortunately for us, Trillium stepped up to the plate.
Yeah.
okay, good.
Because we had some partners that, quite frankly, to be honest with you, I was a little disappointed in them in their attitudes towards Dick's Crisis Center and their participation, because it was providing a valuable service. But that's neither here nor there. It's more than the bridge. We're moving forward. Trillium's involved, and we're pressing forward.
As long as you took care of the problem and you're resolving the issues. Good. Thank you.
Okay.
Gentlemen, thank you. I know we kept you too late today.
Oh no, we're good.
I got to get to work.
That's what I figured.
Nah.
Some of us don't have cushy jobs.
Well, you can go. We'll keep Tim.
Tim's like, no, Kelly will keep asking questions.
I love questions.
I'll get a phone call later and say, "What is wrong with your wife, Robin?"
Yeah, it's okay.
And she's going to give a call later on and say, what is wrong with your
She's
husband?
not been here lately whenever you gentlemen
Yeah, I
have
haven't
been in.
been.
So
I
she's
know I had to
catching
save it
up.
all up.
She's
And
catching up.
people need to understand, Robin has no idea ahead of time that what I'm about to ask him, because I
You
don't talk
don't
to him
either.
about this stuff. No, it just comes to me as I'm
That's what
sitting
I was
here.
gonna
Yeah.
Right,
We don't
right.
plan this stuff
We
in
don't plan
advance.
this. No, I
Well, let me tell you something about being a commissioner and having somebody involved in the community like Kelly and that knows all these people. It's really tough. I come home and I'll have certain issues that I don't really vocalize, like especially closed meeting stuff. I don't talk to her about that because it's none of her business. But
don't
just
wanna
like she
know.
doesn't discuss.
Ooh,
I don't
none
want to
of
know.
None of
It's
your
just like,
business.
well, it's not. It's like her, with her clients, and that's a HIPAA violation. So we don't even discuss that. But it's very hard being married to a very intelligent woman because
Oh, God, here we go.
She'll look at me.
If you want to be happy, marry a dumb woman.
No, I didn't say that.
Is that what you just said?
No, it's just very difficult. But then when I come here,
Just stop right now. Go stop.
when I come to the
You're
show,
digging this whole
no,
thing.
no. When I come to the show, I don't know. I have no idea what she's going to ask me. The only thing she'll say to me is I may have a question or two for you, so just letting you know. And that's it.
Duh.
But I do this to him at home too, though. Sometimes I'll hear something on the street or whatever, and I'll come and hear that, and he's like, because sometimes I will fuss at him. Let's be clear.
Absolutely. she does.
Sometimes he'll make a vote on the commissioner thing that I don't agree with, and he hears about it when he gets home.
Well, it's too late then.
Well, I know, but I still fuss. I have occasionally texted him in the middle of a meeting, like,
Oh, no, you don't.
hollering, yes, I have done that. So I'm not going to not
Some
admit
of
I
us
did
have
that.
been known to do that. You better vote no.
Yeah, like I
To several
fuss
of the
at him
commissioners.
sometimes.
You can get a burner if you need one. I know, I can help you out.
Well, she's right about that. There's a certain issue that her and I disagree on, and I didn't know she went the other way, but she said, don't vote on this.
I was
whatever.
mad about
This
it.
is my, she always says it though. She always caveats it. This is my opinion. I wouldn't vote on that. And I look at it and I just kind of go,
He goes, well, no, not my opinion.
and what I'll do is you'll see me sometimes. I'll look at this and then in the meeting, I'll just go,
Yep. Tim sees him do it, and I know Tim knows who the text is from. Kelly's texting him.
I'll just flip it over.
All right, guys, we're going to do some weather.
All right, do some weather.
Thank you,
Do some
guys.
weather.
Weather
Thank
will
you
be
very
on
much.
us.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, right. That's what they're saying now. Anyway, okay, you guys have a good one. Vice Chairman Robin Knapp, Chairman Tim Foster of the Onslow County Board of Commissioners, and we do appreciate openness. I'm not calling it transparency. I'm calling it openness, making themselves available for us to have a chat with and for y'all to express your opinions of. You do not have to wait for every 4 years to get out there and do something. These commissioners meet every month, okay? A couple of times every month. Take the advantage of that open opportunity to get out there and give them some grief if that's what you want to do. Don't wait for every 4 years. Don't let it build up in you. Just spout it out. Do like Kelly does.
You do what I do. Look, y'all don't know. Robin gets fussed at a lot by me.
I'm sure he does.
I admit it.
I hear about it.
Yeah. So,
I'm just kidding. Let's venture out to a place where I love to play for many decades, the deep blue sea. Before heading out, though, I encourage every one of you to check the forecast, not only for the day you plan to take the trip, look at the day before and look at the day after. Look at the day before and the day after the day you plan. There's an open gate there is what I'm pointing at. Golly. Before and at least one day after your intended trip, the forecast changes regularly. Weather systems speed up, slow down, die out, and then reform. Offshore today, out to 20 nautical miles, southwesterly winds 15 to 20 knots with gusts of 25 knots. Going to be breezy out yonder. Seas 4 to 5 feet with 4 footers every 5 seconds. Close together will make that inlet really nasty. Sounds and rivers will likely have a bit of a chop as well, especially this afternoon. Southwesterly winds tomorrow, 10 to 15, seas 3 to 4. Southwesterly winds on Friday, 15 to 20, seas around 4 feet.
today, mostly sunny, a high of 86. Winds will be from the southwest, 6 to 11 miles an hour with 18-mile-an-hour gusts. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 63. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high of 86, 15-mile-an-hour gusts. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low of 63. It's like a broken record. On Friday, mostly sunny, a high of 85. Gets a little more gusty with 20-mile-an-hour gusts. Saturday night, looks like there is going to be some showers and possibly a thunderstorm. Just for the nighttime, though. Sunday looks good.
I don't know what the status of the wreck there on US 17 south of Holly Ridge, about 3 miles in Surf City. Yes, on Surf City, in the city limits of Surf City on Highway 17. There's been a wreck there earlier today, and traffic was backed up. So if you're going to be there, you may experience some traffic delays. Okay, it'll take a while to get it all cleaned up, no doubt about it. There was a wreck yesterday, about 6 o'clock yesterday morning. A tanker overturned. They initially called it a fuel tanker.
Well,
we don't know what it
speaking of
was.
It was a fuel tanker. It was multi-car. So
I know that. We got that. But was it gasoline?
Yes, it was.
They said later it was not gasoline.
Oh, this is what I saw.
But then after that, later on, I read where
So
it
it
was.
was gasoline.
It was gasoline. It tipped. So what happened was they're
Yes.
saying a car hit the tractor trailer, and it tipped over, but it didn't happen at that time. So then another truck comes along, hits the tanker that's already overturned.
Uh-huh.
Another truck hit the median trying to avoid crashing into something. So it became a multi-car. That's when
And then a bunch of cars caught on fire too.
and then, yes, because it started a chain reaction. I-40 East is still closed until noon today.
That's coming back this way.
Coming
yes.
this way, but going that way has reopened, but coming this way has not. It will open at noon, and I'm looking at it now. It will open at around noon today.
Yeah, the story they put out last night was the tanker came up upon a car
And hit
that
it.
had either stalled or was
something.
moving extremely
Yes.
slow
Matters not.
and hit it. And that's what started it.
Matters
That's
not
right.
how if a vehicle is stopped in the road. If an airplane falls in the road, you've got to know about it. You've got to be driving at a speed that you can control
Oh,
and
absolutely.
stop. Okay?
Absolutely.
That's the bottom line. All right, we got a
That
caller.
started the dominoes.
Hello.
Morning, morning, morning. Yes, you have a caller.
Hey,
Hey.
Stephanie, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Kathy Stephanie.
Yes, it's Stephanie. With Reach Across America. How about that?
There you go.
Yeah. Hey, I just wanted to do a real quick push, if I can, for anybody that with the Alonzo Memorial Park, because we are going to have a ceremony out there, and then we'll be able to move that all the people over to the Veterans Cemetery in plenty of time, because our service is going to start at 9.
Okay, good.
But yes, anybody that really would like to help us, because they don't have like a database of any of the family members for us to get a hold of
Oh boy.
to let them know about this. But there is a website. They said that people can look at, hopefully family members. But we really need to get some restarted for out there too.
All right. I know of one.
You know what?
Yeah, my dad.
Your dad's out there?
Yep.
Oh, Chris's mom's out there.
Yeah, I know some people.
U.S.
out
Navy.
there. Well, I don't know the people, but I know some of the people that are out there buried. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what I meant.
All right.
Oh, see, and that's how we found out when we went to visit Chris's mom. We happened to look, and then towards the very back, you can see the they have the like the M16 and the boots and the helmet. And I'm like, huh, okay. And then that's the veterans. They have a left and a right to it, and then they have an honor part of the cemetery, and then they have some in the mausoleum. They have over 1,500 right now.
Really?
Really, yeah. And they have never, ever had anybody do tribute or honor their veterans.
Good.
So, yep,
We're going to
so
break
we
that
did
mold
that.
this year. Let's get her done.
we're going to get her done.
Okay.
So, anybody out there, even if you don't know anybody, just make a $17 donation so we can put a wreath on somebody's grave out there.
Go at $34, you can get 2 wreaths. One for yours and one for somebody else's. That's what I'm going to do.
That's
In
where
addition
you
to
go.
ones
There
I've
you go.
already done, but I've got 2 to do. One's going to have to go to the National Cemetery in Wilmington, but I will take that.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to take that one down there?
I'll take that one down there. I'll take the one down here too to Onslow. I don't care. I can.
Okay.
I got a Jeep that'll go anywhere.
Well, yeah, we want you guys out there for the ceremony.
My Jeep
We
fought.
definitely want you.
My Jeep fought in the war and won a war. What did your car do? I'm just kidding.
My car hit the back of the school bus.
Ouch. All right, Kathy, we appreciate your call. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Okay. Have a great day.
All right, you too. I tell you, I was.
Did she just say her car hit the back of a school bus?
She's kidding. She was kidding. I was talking to a guy. On my ham radio stuff, there's a maritime network, maritime marine network that's running from noon until 8 o'clock every day, and I check in regularly. And the other day when I was checking in, there was one of the maritime mobiles that was checking in was up in New York, and it was an old World War II vessel, an LST. Yep. And you can, if you apply and the call letters are available, you can get special call letters for certain events or for certain projects, or it's just because of you. If you want your initials as part of your call letter and they're available, you can do that.
Right.
Well, the license and number district area for New York is 2. There's like ours here is 4. New York, New Jersey is 2. And this World War II vessel, you paying attention? World War
Yes.
II vessel was an LST, and it's been put into service to do other stuff.
Right.
Okay.
But it still looks just like the LST it originally did. They got the call letters WW2 LST.
I like that.
I like it.
LST.
Perfect.
Yes. I like that.
Yeah, I did
do
too.
it.
I
That's
just
pretty
had to
good.
mention that. Just one of those little trivia things that I'd never heard of it before, but I actually heard the station, and unfortunately
Nice.
it was on a network. I couldn't just grab him and talk to him on the side because I will do that though. I will look him up.
Yes.
I'll
Just
do-
a
I'll-
quick reminder,
Yep.
tomorrow's the National Day of Prayer.
Yes, it
And
is.
the Onslow County chapter for prayer will be meeting tomorrow at 11:30. I keep doing that. On Thursday at
11
11:30.
Thursday on Thursday.
11 Thursday at Thursday at the Beirut Memorial. If you'd like to partake in the National Day of Prayer, be there 11:30, Beirut Memorial. And Saturday, the Men Who Cook contest for the
Oh, yeah,
Salvation
brother.
Army, 4 to 8 at the Eastern Regional Trade Center,
Skill Center.
Skill Center. I gotta get something right
You're
here.
gonna get it sooner.
Yes,
It's on Northwest Park
Northwest
Corridor Boulevard.
yes. Just Boulevard.
Boulevard.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So come to that. I
And
think
we'll
it's
see you tomorrow. We're going to have Chris
Yes.
Miller. It's going to be Miller time, and we're going to be entertained.
with Chris Thomas
Not
and
Chris
Chris
Thomas.
Marks.
Chris Thomas's friend,
We need to
Tim
get off the
Thomas,
air because
I'm
we need to
turning
go
her
home and
off.
go to bed.
Okay.
I need a nap.
She's having a moment.
Chris Thomas
No,
It's
is not
Tim
going to
Thomas.
be here.
Tim
Yeah.
Thomas
It
will
is
be.
Tim Thomas and Chris Marks.
Yeah. Don't get them confused.
That's where
It's
the
the donkey
confusion
man.
was.
The donkey
The
man.
donkey man will be here,
and the
and
wreath
our
man,
little buddy.
yes.
will be here.
Yes. So we'll have
I got a
double.
question to ask you after the show.
I will sit back.
Who?
You,
Has a question?
me.
Okay, off the air or on the
Yeah,
air?
off the
What to
air.
do
Okay.
for Lee? That's the question.
I agree with
Get her
that.
straightened
Yeah,
out.
we got to get that voice recognition or something. You're live and local, Real Talk. We're going to be gone for a couple hours, about 22 of them. We'll be
So
back
we need
tomorrow
that.
morning. Join us then. Kelly's going to be gone tomorrow.
No, I'll be here.
You're gone tomorrow.
You told me you were going to Charlotte tomorrow.
No, it's next week.
Well, sometimes she'll be here tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the morning. Bye, y'all.